This video is brought to you by Parks and Power. The emerald ash borer, EAB, is an invasive beetle that preys on ash trees. It's killed hundreds of ash trees in Minneapolis. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, MPRB, is condemning all public and private ash trees. Homeowners in North Minneapolis are being charged exorbitant prices to remove their ash trees in what they feel is discriminatory and unfair treatment.
When my mom first told me about this issue with someone trying to cut down her tree, I didn't really understand how how chaotic it was. She had mentioned the park board and had mentioned aggressive, rude assessment or inspectors coming to her property, and she didn't know why they were there. The way she described the stress of it, though, was what got me more involved. I couldn't sit back and let my mom, who's 73 years old, go through this by herself. She just bought this house 2 years ago, and she doesn't deserve to have to go through all this. And then I realized more of my friends and people that I knew from the neighborhood, other black women, were also going through this. What we've realized is that a lot of people are impacted by this. And so it's important for us to share our stories and talk about what's going on and figure out what's going on so that we can support and protect each other. We have a tree canopy issue as it is. We had that tornado in 2011. It wiped out a lot of our tree canopy. The trees are a big benefit to our communities for oxygen, for flooding relief, and shade. So knowing that the park board is not using the best practices and is cutting down all these public trees, all these private trees, and it's really scary. What's going to be the economic outcome? I mean, we're talking about the real economy, our ecosystems, and the fact that there is a less expensive way to handle this by treating your tree, and also you get a chance to keep your tree if your tree is not completely infested, then I don't see why this wasn't the way that the park board decided to go. And then what is going to be the outcome for folks who are making a lot of money planting trees that are failing, that are dying? They're not taking care of the trees that they're responsible for planting. They're making millions of dollars off of selling them as carbon credits, and they're selling them to facilities that cause pollution in our communities. So places like Xcel Energy, and they're just holding on to them. The park board treats trees on golf courses and other areas in Minneapolis, but they didn't choose to tell people about their opportunity to treat trees privately. And so we're just asking a lot of questions lately to the park board, wanting to hold them accountable for the mess that they created. They may not have created the infestation, but they definitely created a whole other problem when they were trusted to do the right thing. We decided to show up at the park board. I think when we showed up, we thought that we would be heard, but we found that only a couple were actually interested in meeting with us or talking to us. A lot of people brushed us off. I think one lady from the park board had said something like, "This isn't really that big of an issue. Like, trust me, there's bigger issues happening in Minneapolis." We felt silenced. We felt ignored. We also have written emails. We've had data requests. We've reached out to the county. We've reached out to the city. We've reached out to the Attorney General's office. We have reached out to the Department of Natural Resources. I mean, you name it, we've reached out to it, trying to get a handle on the situation. This is really malpractice, and It's irresponsible to our communities, to our environments. I love my community. I love my mother. I love my friends, my neighbors, and I won't sit back and allow our communities to continue to be exploited.